Joining us on the podcast once again today is a returning champion, of course, to this show. Of course, you all know him best as the head coach of the 2024 NCAA Men's Team Champions. I know him as the man with the most appearances on this Cracked Interviews podcast. Let's welcome back to the show our dear friend, TCU men's tennis head coach David Roditi. Coach, it is always good to see your smiling face. Welcome back to the show. How are you and the Frogs feeling as you get ready for the Sweet 16?
How you doing, Alex? Thanks for having me back. Love being on the show. Love what you do. Thank you very much for you guys have taken college tennis to another level, and we really appreciate it. Yeah, we're just getting ready. We're still alive, so that's all we can ask for right now.
No, it is always a good thing to be playing into May and obviously to be able to host the Sweet 16 this weekend against UCF, a matchup I want to ask you about a little bit later. I am curious, and I know we've gotten the chance to talk off mic a couple of times this year, but coming off of an NCAA championship season, how real is the hangover effect? Like, just for this group to have that nucleus of guys back from last year, do the calluses and, dare I say, even pains, warts of last season because of how arduous it was carry over to this year?
Well, when you say hangover, I think of sort of a bad feeling.
Yeah.
It has not been a bad feeling at all. We would take that feeling any day. It's almost addicting in a way. It's awesome. We get to see it with our beach volleyball team right now. They just won it, and they're in cloud nine, and it brings back great memories. And I'm so happy for them. So, uh, no. I don't think it really matters. I think it's all about the present. It's all about doing the best that we can to stay healthy. I think what it did help is that there was no panic button when we lost Pedro there for a while and Jack to some tournaments. The guys knew to step up, and the young guys and the guys that don't get to usually play every match, they sort of knew what it was sort of asked of them in a way and do the best you can, and they stepped up. So I think that helped. I think the fact that we went through all of that last year maybe helped us have the kind of season that these guys had so
Yeah.
far.
Well, it's interesting to hear you say that because as you look at 2025, I mean, college tennis fans who have tuned in know we haven't seen your team fully healthy. And even then, I'm sure there were still some warts since that regular season Texas match, really back in March. And, again, there are a lot of similarities between the story of this year's TCU team and last year's team as well. How has navigating all of those injuries, what's it been like behind the scenes for you guys? What does it say that this team is 24-3 and the two seeds entering the Sweet 16?
Yeah, we leave it up to the trainers and the doctors, and just sort of ask what they want us to do. Keep keep the other parts of your body going, which we did a good job of last year, which is not fun at all. I'm sure Gorsney would tell you that hitting against a ball machine when you can't move for an hour was extremely boring, and I'm sure he's glad he did it because it paid off. So it's more about just being patient, take it one day at a time, don't overdo it. We probably made that mistake a little bit this year. Get excited, and you do it a little bit too hard, and then you got to take a few days off again. So um, yeah, just the patience is key, and having our trainer Max Akel, man, that guy should get MVP of the year. He's just had so much on his plate, and he's so patient. We're so lucky to have him.
One of my favorite humans in the world. I felt bad because I was talking to him before the first match you guys played at Big 12s, and I think we can say this now. Cooper, of course, hits a ball, goes to the trash can, yaks, and he's like, Alex, I got to get to work. And it's just like, oh, yeah, no, do your thing, my friend. And it's just kind of been that sort of season for you guys. And yet, I do want to ask about your round of 32 match against Oklahoma specifically. First of all,
Oh,
I was driving to to go get dinner after broadcasting that match with our producer Daniel Westoff, who this is your influence. In the car, we're driving, and he goes, "Has Roditi posted the report yet? Like, I got to see it after that one." And I too was devastated when you did post that. I recorded this great video, and it got lost because I was waiting for it, my friend.
man, there were a few things I was gonna do actually. I love just whatever comes to my brain in the moment, just do it. And I had what I was curious to see how he came out. As you know, it's just one take, whatever comes out, and it was right when we finally won. I was so excited and relieved, and probably had to change shorts and everything. And I didn't push record. I was so disappointed. I mean, I pushed record, but in a bad way. And our SID is like, "Are you sure this is the report?" I'm like, "Yeah, that's the report." And he's like, "Look at it," and there was nothing. And I was so disappointed. So then an hour later, it was this really anticlimactic, boring one. So, but it was, man, God, what a match. You're like, how could this happen? And then you see what happened to other schools that had a similar lead that did not come up on top. You're like, well, at least we won.
Yeah, no, I would love to see the director's cut of what the original report looks like because, yeah, I can only imagine. I tweeted out the first shot that Colo hit, that backhand line in the tiebreak in the third, and obviously, him coming back against Louis the way that he had in that set. The level was just a joke down the home stretch. What is
He
it?
did play incredible.
What did you see from Louis outside of just a stellar haircut that allowed him to pull through in a moment like that?
Yeah, that's the new haircut these days. A lot of poise there, a lot of maturity at the end there. It's hard to lose a lead the way he lost it, and he had some opportunities earlier, but Colo was playing unbelievable tennis, so free, and obviously that freedom goes away once you're tie, and you saw Colo was up 40 love, 5-5 40 love, and gets broken.
Yeah.
So it's so interesting how the mind works in those instances. But so proud of Louis, his poise, the help that Coach P and Devin were able to get them through the match. He lost the first set tiebreaker. Now he's going into the third set tiebreaker. I don't know if you remember the first shot that Colo hit down the line backhand
Yeah.
from the back fence, passing shot, one-handed backhand down the line pass, ridiculous. And I'm like, oh my God, this is just not meant to be. And Louis just kept playing, and we're so proud and so happy for him. And but it did take a lot out of him. He was sick. He didn't play the day before because he was sick, not because we didn't want him to play. So unbelievable effort.
No, that's the shot I tweeted out because that ball from Colo, it was just like, what? like,
Yeah, I remember. That's right. You said something like, "You love college. I love college tennis," or something like
yeah,
that.
it was just like, how does he hit? I mean, knowing the circumstances, it was just remarkable to see, and yet sneaky important. And I saw after the match, I like to analyze the body language, and the celebration tells me a lot as well. Luke Swan went right over to Roger Pascoul and said, "Man, like you were out there fighting, and you were on that court." Roger this year, 10-2 overall, was asked to play maybe more than you would have expected, just given all the injuries. Him staying alive in that second set, how key was that in your mind?
Yeah, it's huge. It as you know college tennis. Everything influences the timing of things and what's happening. Momentum's influences. So absolutely takes pressure off. Um, takes your pressures of Louis, and and it's great for Roger, and it's hard. I mean, Roger basically started playing that match with Louis about to win, and what was interesting is you watch the way um, Asahi, the number 6 for Oklahoma, played in the first set, and I want to ask him, as Colo kept coming back, Asahi's level kind of dropped a little bit. And so he was probably like, oh man, I guess I can't play as free as I've been playing because my match might matter. So there's all these different mindsets and things that influence things. And everybody knows what a team Oklahoma has. Great job by the coaches there, putting that kind of squad out there. They were extremely active in the portal, extremely active in the NIL world, and got some really good additions there for the team. So they were right there. They were
No,
right there.
it was a heck of a battle, and if my texts ever leak, I got the chance to call the first round match where Roger was, oh my God, like that first round match, that's as well as I have seen him play. And all of that is to say, and I want to ask you about some recruiting stuff in a little bit later as well. I'm not going to forget that thought. All the injuries. all the matches you guys have played. People forget that weekend in Utah. Like, what a war that was for your group. Do you know who your best six are? Like, are you 100% like these are the six I'm going to play, or is it kind of a fluid thing going into this Sweet 16?
No, I think it's a fluid thing. I think we have a lot of options, a lot of options. We would love for Pedro to be that option,
Sure.
and we don't know that. That nobody knows that. So, but we're okay. We've done it. We've played UCF twice without Pedro, so it's not like we're used to having him playing UCF, and we just go out there and battle.
It's going to be a fun one, certainly. And I got the chance to see the semifinal match. So, obviously, to play a team twice in a month, always a challenge. To have so many new pieces step in as you guys have this year, and in particular, obviously, the three freshmen, Cooper and Albert as well. Just can you talk to me about those freshmen? You've had a lot of special ones come through, obviously, Fort Worth during your time. Where does this group rank? What have you seen from them that have allowed them all to find success so quickly?
Yeah, I'm not sure we've had three freshmen consistently playing the lineup. So very proud of them. Really proud of their development from the first week of the spring in those first few matches to where they are today and the kind of season they had. And you bring in two Spanish guys that have probably played a total of 5 matches in their life indoors and go through the indoor season and a freshman and a different country playing for this team. They're like, what the hell's going on? And Cooper was out for 2 months before he came to TCU. We didn't even know if he was going to redshirt or not until last minute because of his injuries, and he's had a stellar. So I would put this class up there with any class as far as their performance goes right away as freshmen. They've had to step up, they've had to play higher than expected, and they're just gamers. They love competition. So
Yeah.
as a coach, I love that about them.
No, and I think anyone who watches Cooper as that serve has continued to get better, the size, the fluidity, like that's modern tennis. Watching Peder Rico, I don't know if you got a lot of matches, a lot of players. I don't know if you watched the film specifically of his match against Rezzeghi in the indoor semifinals. I don't know if I've seen anyone at any flight play that well this season as he did in that match. And just like, again, a guy so powerful, the one handed backhand wing. What's your approach? Like, what has been year one in trying to get him to that next level? What do you guys? How have you guys gone about working with them?
Well, we have Coach Center, Michael Center, one of my mentors and one of the best coaches in college tennis. He's one of our consultants, and he works on the mental side with the players, on the competitive side, and that's been one of his projects and one of his uh, players that he's spent the most time with. And so all the credit goes to Coach Center, just getting him to understand what it takes on a daily basis, not so much on game day, but just in practice and what you put into the practice and what you're gonna get out of it and the discipline. And it's been great to see his development and the beauty is that there's still room for more. There's still growth. I should say that match against Rezzeghi, he played just beautiful tennis, and I'm sure Rezzeghi left our court. Was I playing one or was I playing five or six? What was that?
Yeah, it was. I had the chance to talk to him after, and I don't think he'll mind me sharing this. In fact, he said he wouldn't. He came off. He's like, "That's not me, right? Like that guy was ridiculous today." And I was like, "No, that's
Yeah, no,
like,
he was convinced we're stacking. We're stacking.
yeah,
Like, no, no, we're not. But he did play really well.
yeah." It was,
The next day he got beat
yeah.
easily by Wake Forest, and so yeah, that was a great day.
No, and by the way, have that back-to-back experience, the Stanford match, the Wake Forest match, for a group that is half extraordinarily experienced and half very, very young. How was that used as a rallying point for you guys at the midway point?
Yeah, it's that's having a young team can go either way, right? They can get to a certain part of the season and hit a wall, or they can just keep improving because there's so much room for growth, and they all get along. They love each other. They're like little. I feel like every year that an 18-year-old boy seems more like a 12-year-old these days. But um, they play hard for each other, and they have developed and they have bought in so far. But here we are. I'm saying they've bought in, they love it. And a week from now, probably all three in the transfer portal. So I'm like, all right. But I'll say I don't think they're going anywhere. I think they love it, and we love them, and they've been a big, huge part of our success. And if you talk to Jack, and I can say it because Jack Pennington Jones, who has talked about how much pressure off he has taken to see all these young guys and this sort of bottom of the lineup younger guys have developed. It takes a lot of the pressure at the top.
Yeah, you talk about that bond. Again, that off-court chemistry so important. I've said this in the past. When I thought your team was going to win the NCAA championship last year was during media day, when there was just a looseness to them. It was like, oh my god, like that's a team that's coming in confident. And given how young this team is, how have you guys gone about building that? Like, I have heard rumors there was a steak dinner involved, I think, in the Utah weekend that helped, things of that nature, convincing you to take them out and just getting this young group on board so that all things are clicking come now in May. What's that process been like?
Yeah, that was definitely an expensive meal. But they earned it. They earned it. That was a tough, hard fought win going into Utah and BYU. We actually spend money. We have a company called Driven Leadership with Mary and Eric. We've had them for 15 years, and we went through it in the fall. So we didn't have the freshmen, but we had that core of seniors, with Swanee, Pedro, and Louis. So that's the top, right? Those are the leaders. Then you throw Jack in there, and then that core sophomore class of Philip, Duncan, Kai, and Huli, who, those guys are super important. They may not play every match, but they're four of them, and they're the ones that can either bring the team down because they're bummed they're not getting the playing time, or they can push everybody up and their teammates know that they're right there whether they play or not. So that we actually put money into that part of the program is developing that culture, and nobody better than Mary and Eric doing it. So I think that's where it stems from. Obviously, Devin Bowen and Coach P, Scott Perelman, they're awesome at it. There's so much consistency coming from them that keeps everybody together. Um, and yeah, luckily we haven't had too many sort of lone wolves out there, and keeps the culture going.
No, it's part of why, again, what you guys have built is so impressive. Decade plus of top 10 finishes. By the way, I saw the video, and again, how heartfelt your emotion was in talking about this senior class. We have talked about this topic before. Yourself, Devin, there are a lot of good names you could throw out there. Obviously, Chappell, Rybo, Nori, Jerry Lopez, my original crew, Allie Gray. Is this senior class, like even maybe Swanee, just given the contributions, I know how important he is, are those three of the four Mount Rushmore faces now? Do we got to start making some new room?
I mean, I think we've had so many. I can make a case for so many of them to be in the Mountain Rushmore. Instead of four, we would have to put a lot more. But what I would say about this class is that they are the most accomplished. They have done the most in the 4 years as far as championship trophies and titles, and where the program was when we felt we liked where it was 4 years ago, and they just took it to another level. Obviously, they didn't do it alone. They did it with seven other guys. But what I would say about this class is that Louis and Pedro and Swanee, no more than Swanee, they have led from the side. They have led from a little bit behind. They have not been the alpha males that are barking at the team. They've played so many different roles, and they have the ability to still bring it on a daily basis and not necessarily be the guy. And that was part of that developmental with Mary and Eric driven for leadership. It's like, okay, Louis and Pedro and Swanee, you are the seniors now, and this is your time to lead from the front. So for them to make that switch as well has been remarkable. As accomplished as they are, as as tennis players, they're even better people. And I've said it we just had a little banquet, and not once did I ever have an issue about attitude or being selfish or grades. I mean, these guys have a 3.6, 3.6, 3.2 GPA. It's remarkable with all their accomplishments. Um, these are the kind of guys that if you had a sister or a daughter that you would want to end up with, and that's even better than what they have accomplished on the court. And I love saying that because I think that's more important.
Tears or no tears at the banquet from you?
Oh, absolutely. I was choking up right now just talking about it. That's why I'm taking a sip of water, but I held it. That's why I kept repeating the words so I could take a deep breath.
Let me tell you, I don't know what I'm going to do without those guys next year either, because it's just going to be weird for me. Yeah, there was a moment, I've shared this before. Cannon Kingsley came up after last year's and was like, "Hey man, thanks for everything." And I was like, "Dude, I've half a decade. Like, I can only imagine what it's like when you're with them every day." So
Yeah.
yeah, no, it's a credit to that class, and obviously one of the great rivalries of this season has been Pedro versus Boot, and hopefully he's going to win that rivalry, and we get to see him at his best as he was here in his senior season before.
Yeah.
Is
Well,
there a?
he got to play doubles, right? He
It
got to
was
play doubles
great to
against
see him.
Oklahoma.
Yeah.
We didn't know that until that morning. So that was huge.
Hmm.
I'm sure Nick Kroll was like, "Really? That's your doubles lineup? Where's Roger and Phillip at three? Where's that?"
No, it's again, we want him healthy. It's college tennis is more fun when everyone is healthy and we can just roll the balls out and play. And for your team this season, is there a particular match you are most proud of as you look at 2025 to date?
Oh my God, that is a incredible question. Um, Man, the win at UCF was incredible. Losing the doubles in about 10 minutes, getting down all those first sets. Cooper playing, throwing up during the match, coming back, winning a third set match. Utah in those conditions, they were all over us. Six three-setters going on simultaneously, and you don't even know if the ball's going to go in or not. Um, Yeah, those are two that just send up. Obviously, the Stanford matches are massive. It didn't come down to the wire per se, but it's because we stopped at four. But those could easily different order could go. But it's interesting. Somebody in the argument you saw that staggering the matches a little bit for beach volleyball kind of gave different ending to different matches. An interesting concept, for tennis, but we can have that conversation at another time.
No, it is very interesting. I mean, how that would work is fascinating to me. I guess you if you have a matchup like this is just a random note, but Cooper I think played Fuchs, was it, at BYU, which was one of my favorite matches of the year because it was just like who's going to touch a ball first as they're hitting bombs. And yeah, that Utah trip. It's a daunting, like, again, this new Big 12 schedule. What'd you make of it? UCF, Arizona, Utah trip.
Yeah, definitely some miles. Luckily, you only do half of them
Hmm.
every year. It's challenging, but at the same time, that's what builds you. That we built. We came out of that BYU Utah weekend stronger than we were, and trust me, we would never do that if we had a choice. So. Um, it's different conditions. It's a different atmosphere. BYU is a rowdy bunch. That is a tough culture, man. To be playing out there, so it just toughens you up, and I'm very pleased, but it is challenging. It is challenging to go in different time zones. You go from mountain dry, maybe indoor altitude to humid, hot at UCF. Yeah, there's a difference.
Yeah, I think my hot take is that BYU tennis is 5 years away from being the program because you see those mountains in the background, and if, like, again, BYU home court advantage is the best in tennis because for 90 minutes the opponent isn't going to make a ball, and it's just like how big of a lead can they build in those first 90 minutes. I love watching. I think it's a very fun challenge.
Yeah, it's like if getting a root canal is a if you consider that a challenge, I agree with you 100%. all you need is that when you're, in the orthodontist, you have a beautiful view of those mountains. Yeah, I agree with you, Alex.
Great viewing experience. Maybe less fun to coach against. On the other side, if you could go back and reallocate more time in practice for one thing this year, what would you pick and why?
Oh, good questions.
Thank you. Could be on court, off court.
Man, I feel like it's so stupid, it's such a coach answer, but I don't think we spend enough time taking care of our bodies after practice. It's just we do an amazing job before, and after we just don't. And the coach is left with the question of, do I nag again? Do I become a nag? Do I, whatever? You got 20 hours a week. Do you take 4 of those hours of the week and make them stretch? But that doesn't, making somebody do something, it's not, doesn't get you anywhere. It's just, yeah, it's like parenting. One day you'll know. It's just how big of a nag can you be? And I do wish we did a better job of that. And keeping a cleaner locker room. That is not our forte. But once Jack leaves, maybe it'll be better.
I like that. This class will be known for a lot of things. Cleanliness, maybe not highest on the list. We talked earlier about the transfer portal, or alluded to it. Obviously, it sucks that this week, with the Sweet 16 looming, that's the week the portal opens. How do you view the portal now as a piece of roster construction?
Well, I said root canal, right? Maybe there's other surgical procedures that are maybe better suited for this. It is crazy. It's just crazy. Um, I'm sure there's a good in it with new opportunities, and it's for those kids that sort of are not where they thought they would be, or they're not, or they have simply improved a lot, or didn't crack the lineup. There's some really good reasons, but the whole NIL and I don't think it's good for the long of our sport. I don't even think it's good for the players. Yeah, they're getting more money because they're just sort of, we're all competitive, and it's an arms race. Who's going to give them more money? Um, I don't like it. I don't like it, and I'm all about helping. There's ways to help. Helping these guys. Tennis is expensive. Tennis, they all have they want to either start a business, put a down payment on a house. There's some good reasons. I just I don't see the work behind the money that they're making, and that's where the NCAA needs to figure it out. If they come out with you know sugar candy with their name on it, and I'm talking about Sharapova, and it sells like crazy. Good for you. You're an entrepreneur. You made some money. You use your image, and you're making good money. Great. That's not the reality right now, and that's the part that fundamentally it bugs me. And you'll see here in the next couple weeks, our guys came up with a really cool idea. I think you're gonna love it. I'll leave it with that, and you'll probably find out soon what they're doing and what they did, and it's legit NIL, and that's refreshing, and I love that part. What it is right now, not a big fan, but I'm hearing that maybe tomorrow it's all gonna be signed and maybe changed. I just don't see them how are they gonna enforce the new rules.
It's fascinating. It requires smarter people than us, and certainly, again, are they contract employees? Is that what this is turning into? Will this settlement provide any sort of clarity? Will the NCAA be able to enforce that clarity easily as people try to interpret these new rules? Yeah, there are a lot of questions. It is, I mean, on that NIL note, I've said this on other podcasts. Again, apologies, listeners. Last summer was the wild, wild west in the sense that you heard these things thrown around and you just had to ask yourself, like, how inflated are these rumors? Is this really the money that's being thrown by certain programs for certain players? How prevalent is that NIL piece in every recruiting conversation you have?
With the transfers, it is.
Yeah.
With the freshmen, it's not as much. The transfers, I almost want to go and raise the money and give it to the guys that are currently on my team that are not threatening to go on the portal, just for the fact that they're not threatening to go on the portal, and just give them money just for not playing that game. So and again, and we do it. I mean, we spend money on NIL, not because we absolutely had to, just because we had it and we wanted to. So it's just different, and maybe I sound a little bit old. And again, I'll say it because I don't want anybody to misunderstand me. There's a lot of good. There's a lot of good with all of this. There's just a lot of bad as well, and we're seeing the consequences of UTEP women's tennis program being dropped. DBU was the program here in Dallas Baptist, men and women. This is where sort of you had a choice. You can go to TCU and play club for TCU, or you can go to DBU and have your college experience. My coach, Carl Richter, his daughter, Amanda, she played for DBU and had the best life-changing opportunity, and I feel terrible for those kids. And these are consequences of what we're living right now. So, but nobody's been able to figure it out, and we gotta adjust and find a solution and use it to our advantage.
I agree. I think back in the day, Kalamazoo would rent out a restaurant, and all the coaches would have an open bar, and they'd all come hang out one for the nights as everyone's recruiting. We need to do that. Lock the door, mandate a 3-drink minimum, and then get everyone to start talking honestly. Of just like, hey, this is what my program's facing. This is what my program's facing. Let's try to figure something out. Because I feel like that's half the battle. Is just to your point, and said with love. You guys are all competitors. But it's just like at a certain point, isn't the longevity of the sport more important than that in the
A
immediate
hundred
moment?
percent,
Yeah.
100%. But to your point, in Kalamazoo, we always have a coaches meeting.
Yeah.
And this is 5 years ago when the Alston and the cost of attendance and the third coach. And I stood there and said, guys, not gonna like this or whatever. Can we, as a sport, stop all of this? This will come back. We all love it and we're competitive. And now we can use the cost of attendance for scholarship. And we give an Alston money, and these kids can graduate with extra money. Sounds great. It will become a time. There's only so far we can get with this, and it's going to come back and hurt us. Can we, as a sport, say, you know what, tennis, no Alston, no cost of attendance, and nothing against our players. This is for the sustainability of our sport in college. And crickets. Coaches laughed at me. I'm crazy. I'm like, wow. I mean, I feel like we're missing the boat here. We're missing the point. And I'm sure if you ask DBU if they were willing to take, an Alston money away and cost of attendance or their budget and still have a program, would they do it? Without a hesitation, they would do it. But we're competitive and we wanna, we think we have an edge and we can offer more. The third coach, I hear programs are now taking back that salary full-time third coach. I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised. We can figure out ways to have a volunteer coach like we did for so many years. You can teach lessons. You can have academies. You can make money on the side and not cost the department a penny. So again, we just want to survive, right? So when the athletic director said we got to shave $1 million, uh, they look at other sports before they look at tennis. That's the point I'm making. Nothing against the students, because they do work hard, and tennis college students are known for being some of the classiest and most involved on campuses. So we do have a great reputation from that perspective.
Yeah. No, and for the record, to come full circle here, this is why you have the most appearances. I appreciate the candidness of your answer because I think there are, and again, I don't want to discredit what the ITA is doing trying to organize all of these things, but yeah, it's hard because people want to win. as well. You're incentivized as a coach to win. And I guess the long-term winning of the sport is a win for your job personally, or like for every coach's job personally, I guess, is the argument I'm
It's
trying
the
to
most
make.
important.
Yeah.
Forget about college tennis, just tennis in general.
Yeah.
You take college tennis opportunities away, and let's say college tennis instead of 250 Division One and 200 Division Two and 400, I think there's about I don't know 700, 800. I can't remember how many programs. You cut that to 100. We'll see what the USTA junior
Yeah.
participation numbers look like.
Yeah.
It would kill junior tennis, and kids are going to go play pickleball. It's already too easy to play pickleball. So that's my point. It's not just college tennis. We are the carrot that gets all those parents and all those kids traveling and investing in junior tennis and keeps the USTA going because they want to play college tennis. And I'm just afraid of what it would happen to participation at the junior level if college tennis goes away.
I think that's a very good point to make as well. And
So
yeah,
yeah,
it's one of the biggest discussions I will be having this summer once we get through this season is what more can we be doing to advance college tennis and keep it sustainable, keep the longevity moving forward. In the immediate future, though, last two questions for you. This weekend, Sweet 16 action. We got a lot of fun matches to pick from, and I know you are very focused on, obviously, your matchup with UCF. But I'm going to ask you to put on the pundit hat for this one. Your other matchups this weekend, Wake, Texas A&M, Texas, Tennessee, NC State, Columbia, USC, UCLA, Ohio State, Mississippi State, Virginia, Arizona, or Stanford, South Carolina. Which intrigues you most and why?
man, man, I'm so glad we're not in any of them. Uh, wow, wow, that is a great. Hadn't even thought about it. I'm just literally trying to just get ready, you know. But obviously the whole UCLA USC that has a little special. It would be like a Michigan Ohio State type matchup. So that has a special flavor. Two teams that struggled earlier in the season, and they're coming on late in the season, especially UCLA winning the Big Ten. So that was huge. Everybody knew what a lineup they had. They're healthy and they're playing really well. So that's a good one. Um, I think Arizona UVA is a very interesting one. It's like you have two of the best players in college, but one guy's a freshman, one guy is on his way out. How does that work out? Is it six in the third? Is it 2-2? Is it 2-2 for Hodar? Is it 2-2 for Cole? You know that has NC State, Columbia. That's at Columbia, I
Mm-hmm.
assume. No,
Yeah.
it is at
Yeah.
Columbia. So that's 8-9.
Yeah.
Wow, that's a battle. I mean, that's a good one. Yeah, I mean Mississippi State, Ohio State. That's that could be changing of the guards in a way. Who knows? Are they playing outdoors or indoors? Have you looked at the weather?
I think it's supposed to be nice weather this weekend in the Midwest. I'm knocking on wood. I like outdoor tennis.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, what do you think? What would you think Ohio State would prefer? What do you think Mississippi State?
Well, I think you play indoors at Ohio State. It's just a different beast. And I would imagine if you're Mississippi State, you want to play outside under all circumstances. I think if you're Ohio State, I mean, you're in Columbus. There's a reason they've
Yeah.
only lost there 3 times in the last 20 years.
Have they ever lost indoors in those indoors?
Oklahoma match was indoors 20 again that you can like talk about the specific instances. The Alex Galea match that was indoors, but that was the old Ty Tucker Tennis Center, not the new one. No, they lost in the new one to Virginia kickoff weekend 2021.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's a nice scoreboard, huh? Jeez.
Yeah, it's gorgeous facility. Yeah, not too
Yeah.
shabby, not too
Yeah, good
shabby.
for Ty. Good for Ty. He has done an amazing job there.
Yeah, I mean, said with love. Not that you need to hear this. It's 11 straight top 10 finishes, right?
Well, if we were top 10 when the season COVID year got stopped. Yes.
So,
Otherwise,
just
yeah.
fun fact, they have made the round of 16 in every year since 2006, and they've only lost in the round of 16 twice during that time span. So it's like, yeah, there's a lot of fun standards of excellence right now across
That's
college tennis.
unbelievable.
Yeah, yourself,
Unbelievable.
them, many you could turn to.
That's a
Last
great
Yeah.
incredible statistic and good for Ty. I mean, he's done an amazing, yeah, like a iconic Hall of Fame type career there. Incredible.
It's
And that's his alma mater. Is
it's
that
his
right?
it's his alma mater. Yeah, it's another.
How good is that?
It's just yeah, it's just like again. I think he took his 100th loss in year like 22 on the job. Just something stupid like that. The numbers
Yeah.
are fun. Last question for you. You talked about it earlier. UCF. Obviously, a team you guys know well. A team you guys have now faced what for the third time this season. 1-1 against them overall. Obviously, they were able to knock you out in that Big 12 tournament. Talk me through what you view as their biggest strength and what it's going to take to knock them off again.
Yeah, I think they're a very physical team. They have some big, strong boys. They're good in doubles. They have very good energy. The coaches there, Kareem and Lloyd, they've done a great job with that program. Um, and the combination of where they can win in different spots in the lineup and their physicality, playing outdoors, I think that's their strength. Great, very good energy. Very good energy.
Yeah, no, they play. It's going to be fun tennis. What are we going to see from your guys? What's it going to take?
Good energy. Good energy. Poise, um, competitiveness. What you saw Louis go through, be able, be willing to suffer and compete, and then see what happens. Let the racket kind of do the work. But it's going to be. I know they're excited. They're super excited. This is the last match. Win, lose or draw. This is it at home. So we're blessed. We hope to see a lot of people come out. It's graduation day, so probably kills us as far as the crowd. But those that do come, I hope they can really support us.
Graduation speech is overrated. NCAA tennis matches far more entertaining.
I think graduation is overrated. You sit there for 5 hours for 3 seconds of hearing your name. It's that's a tough one. Especially in these days, everything's so fast. I can certainly have a lot of analogies about that one. But
No, let me.
I'm not gonna say it.
My class at Michigan was the bicentennial, and big word. Shout out to me. Um,
Big one.
And yeah, exactly. And we like the way they celebrated that was a video of the best speakers of the past instead of getting us a speaker. So I told my mom, I'm like, I'm not going to that. Like that's insane. It was raining. I was like, I'm not going. Like, why would I go? Had some fun the night before. I was like, I'm absolutely not going. Um, she was accepting. She's like, you know what? Fair. Like that's stupid. Like, why would you go watch a video?
Yeah.
So hopefully, I imagine TCU doing a little better.
Well, all you have to do is spread some kind of rumor about COVID. So then they do it, like you have your own camera and you just click on your camera when it's your turn.
100%.
No,
That's
but I mean, it is a special day. Obviously, I don't want to knock because it's a big day, but it's just a long waiting game, and that's gonna probably kill our crowd. But I'm proud of this senior class, graduating class. Again, students first, tennis players second, people, even better people than student. Yeah, it's very special times for us, and just feel blessed and lucky to be a part of it.
yeah. Well, certainly again, always a pleasure to watch your guys compete. Always a joy to get the chance to chat with you as well, TCU men's tennis head coach David Roditi. Appreciate you taking the time again today, and obviously good luck to you and the Horned Frogs here this weekend.
Thank you, Alex, and I hope we get to talk again.
Take care, my friend.
I always look forward to talking to them. That's a good sign. That's always a good sign.
Oh, I appreciate it.
So, hope
Thank you
that.
as always, my friend.
Thank you. Thank you, Alex.
Recording